What's going on, guys? It's Lazarus here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 prospects I think you guys should look out for in MLB The Show 21. Now, this could be in terms of a future stars card that they introduced last year in Diamond Dynasty, or in terms of guys coming up to the big leagues and making an impact. So having their card in Diamond Dynasty wouldn't be a bad move to make. Either way, I think these 10 guys right here are going to be in the game in some impactful way, and I think you should keep them on your radar as the 2021 season unfolds and we finally get back to baseball and we see what they can do for real. So without wasting any more time, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So the first guy on our list is Tampa Bay Rays top prospect Franco, and a little bit about him. Switch hitting shortstop, 19 years old, signed in July of 2017, so when he was like 16, that's insane. He's currently the #1 overall prospect in all of baseball. Some notable stats he has are an 80 rated hit, which is the highest you could possibly have, 60 rated power, and a 70 overall rating on the 20 to 80 scale, which we're going to be using a lot in this video. And although the highest level he's been at so far is advanced A-ball, I feel like there's a decent chance we might actually see him end up in the big leagues in 2021. You know, the situation right now with the minor leagues is so, I guess, uncertain. There's a lot of shuffling being done, and the fact is, if he can help the team, he will be up there. He's the #1 overall prospect for a reason, having already been on the Rays postseason taxi squad or whatever the hell it was called. So they're clearly very high on him, and I think it's only a matter of time till we see him playing every day for the big league team. In at our #2 spot, we have Baltimore Orioles catching prospect Adley Rutschman. I'm not exactly sure if I said his name right, probably butchered it, whatever, not important. He's a switch hitting catcher, 23 years old, first overall pick out of the 2019 draft, the current #2 prospect overall in the entire league. And some of his stats on the 20 to 80 scale are 65 power, 65 hitting, 65 fielding, and 60 arm. So all around a pretty solid player. He was easily the best player in college baseball the year he got drafted, helping Oregon State win the College Baseball World Series, and apparently was the most impressive player at the Orioles alternate training camp last year. And based on the state of the Baltimore Orioles, I'm sure it's not going to be super long until he's up there with the big league team, especially when the guys that come out of college are a lot more seasoned than, say, the guys coming out of high school. They're a lot closer to being big league ready, and they don't need to be, not babied more in the minors, but the development from getting drafted to being a major leaguer is shorter for the college players, at least the best ones, than it is compared to high schoolers. So yeah, if not 2021, definitely 2022. He's got the talent, he's in a good situation, and we're probably going to see him very soon. In at #3, we have Kelenic from the Seattle Mariners. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering most of these names, so if I am, my bad, but I don't exactly see how to pronounce them, so we're just going to roll with it. So this guy is a lefty outfielder, the #6 overall pick in the 2018 draft by the New York Mets, who then sent him to Seattle in the Robinson Cano deal. Good job there, guys, by the way. And currently sitting at the #4 spot in the top 100 prospects list. He has a rating of 65 hitting, 60 power, and 65 overall. And he's another guy coming from college, so he's obviously a lot more seasoned and ready to go to break into the big leagues. He's made it all the way up to AA already, and considering the fact that he's on the Seattle Mariners, who are just a fucking disaster, put it plainly, there's a good chance he's going to come up sometime this year, get some playing time, and if he does, I think we're going to see that he's actually a pretty good player, because God knows the Mariners need it, and hopefully they don't waste his career. Next up on the list, we have Mackenzie Gore, and honestly, I thought he already made it to the big leagues. When I was doing the research in this video, found out he didn't. Very surprising. I think by this point, we all know who he is. I've talked about him like 5 years straight. He's been a top prospect for God knows how long. The #3 overall pick in 2017, the #6 overall prospect, and his ratings are 60s all around the board except for his curve, which is a 55. And the fact that he's on the Padres right now probably means he's going to be getting some innings this year. I think this offseason has shown that they're down to do whatever it takes to win. And with Mike Clevenger unfortunately out for the season, they've had to bolster their pitching depth, which they've done very well so far. But if anyone goes down or doesn't perform, I think that Mackenzie Gore is going to be the guy to come up and try to right the ship. And even if there is no problems, which won't happen, he's going to be up at some point this year. I think it's time, and we're going to see him dominate at the big league level like we're all expecting him to. Moving on to #5, we have Ke'Bryan Hayes from the Pittsburgh Pirates, who actually did debut in 2020, but for some reason he's still listed as a top prospect, even though he did play quite a bit in 2020, so I don't know what the criteria is for these lists anymore. And the fact that he literally got Rookie of the Year votes, so I'm pretty sure that means he's not a prospect? I don't know. Stupid. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter. He's a 24-year-old third baseman, the 32nd pick in the 2015 draft, currently sitting at the number 9 overall prospect spot, and in 24 games in 2020, he had a line of 376, 442, and 682 with 5 home runs. So clearly the guy's good, or at least in small sample sizes, and he's definitely shown to have some talent, and God knows that Pittsburgh team is going to need all the help they can get. They're going to be in for a rough few decades. Next up, we have Nate Pearson from the Toronto Blue Jays, and like our last guy, he played in 2020 a bit too on the big league level, but unlike our last prospect, he didn't really do anything special, didn't pitch a lot, and in his limited time, really wasn't all that great. But he's still 24 years old, he was a 28th overall pick in 2017, his fastball is rated at an 80 grade, which is the highest you can get. He's throwing triple digit heater shit 24/7, and with the Blue Jays doing as much loading up as they have in the offseason, I don't really see any world where this guy is not going to be a big piece, and at least their bullpen, he might not be in the rotation because I don't know if he's quite that developed yet, but we'll definitely see him play more. And that Blue Jays team, man, I'm telling you, is going to be good. So we're probably going to see this kid perform at a pretty high level as well. At number 7, we have Christian Pache. Again, probably butchered the name, whatever. Who actually played in the playoffs this year for the Braves. He ended up being the starting center fielder in the NLCS. And throughout his time in the minors, up to now, he's always been known as a great defensive player. He has an 80 rating in his fielding, 70 as his arm, and 70 for his running, and that bat of his is slowly catching up to the elite defense. And for a center fielder, honestly, defense is probably more important than their bat, but it looks like he is getting better every single year, and as of right now, it looks like he's going to be their starting center fielder going into the next season. And if I had to compare him to anyone, I'm kind of getting those Andrew Jones vibes, who's probably the best defensive center fielder of all time, and he did have a pretty good bat too. I'm not saying this kid will be anything like that, but that's just the vibe I get from him in general, if you know what I mean. And at the number 8 spot, we have Dylan Carlson from the St. Louis Cardinals, 22 years old, outfielder, first round pick from 2016, who also played a lot in 2020, still listed as a prospect. Again, some reason, don't know why. I mean, when you play over half the season, that kind of, whatever. In 2020, he wasn't really that good, but the guy's a highly ranked prospect for a reason, with 60 rated power, 60 rated fielding, and 55 rated hitting. Clearly the talent is there, and the Cardinals, even though they just got Arenado, still need better hitting. So if they're going to be as good as we think they can be this year, I think this guy's going to be a big part of it. And maybe with an actual full season, we'll see just exactly what he could do. Next up at number 9, we have Andrew Vaughn from the Chicago White Sox, 22 years old, first baseman, 3rd overall pick in the 2019 draft, has a 65 rated hitting, 60 power, and he's currently the number 14 overall prospect. And the only thing I'd say about him coming up to make an impact is that it probably won't happen this year because he's behind Jose Abreu, who just put up an MVP season, albeit in a short season, but still MVP nonetheless. But you never know with injuries. Abreu's getting old, the DH exists, and this guy seems to have a lot of pop, so I think eventually we'll probably see him up there. And if not, he'll probably have a Future Stars card. Don't know if he was in MLB The Show 20, didn't play Diamond Dynasty all that much, but if not 20, then 21 for sure. And finally at number 10, we have Jason Dominguez from the New York Yankees, who I think turned like 18 last week or something like that, which is ridiculous. He's younger than me, and he's a top prospect, and that really just hits the ego in all the right places. And there's no way he's coming up in 2021 unless literally everything possible goes wrong. But since the age of 16, he's been compared to guys like Mickey Mantle and Mike Trout. And last week, people on Yankees Twitter were going nuts because he hit a ball 110 miles per hour, something that's pretty much really exclusively done by Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, of course. And this guy did it at 18 years old, which is stupid. But everything they've been saying about this guy since he was like 13 is pretty much insinuating that he's the second coming of Jesus, and they call him the Martian because he's just that good. So you know what? I'm into the hype. I say lock him up to a 10-year, no, 20-year deal right now while it's still cheap. And if he's got a Future Stars card, sign me up. I want it. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments down below what prospects are you looking forward to seeing in next year's game. And as always, thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace.